So you're a writer, you will have seen this. It is hard, isn't it, to find the facts you need for an article, or that detail that a character would know in your online research. But then it is even harder to find that again if you've lost it. So you have to make really good notes during any kind of online research. Yet you can then end up with a note or something that looks, well, like this. When for every reason, up to and including your sanity, the same note would be so much better as, well, this, wouldn't it? Here's how to do that on Macs and iPhones and iPads, and I will tell you now, it's so easy that this is going to be a lot shorter video than I was expecting. Hello, I'm William Gallagher, and this is 58 Keys, which, as ever, as always, is for writers like you and me who use and who write and research on Macs and iPhones and iPads. Do please like, subscribe, or patronise me. So, these long links, right? Unreadable walls of letters and slashes and quotation marks and codes. What I want is to be able to look at the link in my note and at least see, well, what site is it from? And it actually be very nice if I could also see what the topic of the link is. Plus, long and unreadable links may usually be like that because they come with like this metric ton of advertising and marketing and tracking data for whatever company runs whatever website it is. But they can also be there to hide that the link does not go where you think it does. For example, easiest example is when there's urgent emails about parcels awaiting your delivery, or your storage is running out, or actually whether or not you have a PC that, your PC is infected with viruses. Well, of course it is, it's a PC. But the spam email that sends all of this will look as close to being really from Microsoft or FedEx or whoever it possibly can be, and there'll be a handy link to solve all your problems, but that link actually takes you not to Microsoft.com, but to wewillrobbyoblind.com. There's a joke there. Incidentally, just while I'm saying it, you can copy out those links without clicking them. Copy it out, paste it somewhere, see damnyouquartus.co.uk. Right, so you can see your way out, and that's all spam. But the thing is, those long URLs, they sometimes hide what looks like the real thing. So your eyes see it, you could be fooled. So that danger, plus the just general unreadableness, long URLs are a problem. So are short ones. But that's another story, and we'll come back to that in a sec. Now, I have been using a shortcut of my own, my very own shortcut that removes a certain type of this long rubbish, and you're welcome to it if you want. But it only does one type. And actually, looking into this in order to talk to you about it, I found 3 alternatives that are infinitely better, starting with AI. Hang on, as ever, how long did it take before we were talking about AI? Yeah, but you can paste a long URL address into any AI chatbot and it go off, clean it up. You can also paste actually in a whole set of links, and AI can clean up the lot. You need to then follow each link to check because it's AI. But also what you don't seem to be able to do is, say, make a Google search somewhere, if you still do that, copy the link to that search and then tell AI to fetch all the links and clean them up. Won't do it, and it would be so handy if it did. If you know a way to do that, take a whole page for it. Imagine me sitting here waiting for you to tell me. But since you kind of have to do this one at a time, I mean, yeah, I just said you can paste in a whole set, but you have to have got them first, and that's a one-by-one job. Okay, then actually there are other one-by-one quick methods that might be handier. Such as this, which actually is the reason I looked into this for 58 Keys at all. I mean, I'm doing this too. I'm researching too. I'm forever finding long links and I'm having to deal with them in different ways. But you know how it is. You just do something, then you take 1 minute to step back and look into it, and you end up finding a better way. That's what's just happened with me. And the first better way is Hookmark. It's hard not to sound like I'm sponsored of this. I'm never sponsored, by the way, because I like it so much. But okay, one of my absolute favorite Mac utilities in so many ways. It's got a whole new feature just to do with this. Example, here's a long URL from Amazon, copy it or hook it, and then with a keystroke, bring up Hookmark, and then from the bar there, choose hook to new, and now pick from that very long and comprehensive list. Let's say notes, because I do use Apple Notes. And now I have an Apple Note with that link in. That is the start of a research project right there. I mean, get Hookmark for that, yeah, but also get it for everything else. I've got to tell you, it connects everything you need together. I have all the websites I need, right, for a particular job. Fine. I have all of the documents as well, Mac documents, the apps, the specific emails, everything all grouped together. So if I'm in Affinity Publisher, for example, laying out a magazine, and I suddenly remember there's a contributor, there's a writer, there's a client who said something specific in an email sometime, I'm in that email before I finish the thought, read it, and I'm back in Affinity before I've thought about it. I use Hookmark, I was going to say every day, but I'm pretty sure there was a Sunday about 6 weeks ago when I didn't. I was slacking. Yeah, I'm a fan. Link in the description. I expect that I'm also going to become a fan over something I've just found for the Mac and the iPhone, the iPad, called Clean Links. You need to follow the description for this because there are like 11 billion of these. And actually, I don't know if the one I found is the best, but what I found is that it's actually very good. Take a long URL, paste it into the Clean Links app. It strips out all of the extraneous tracking junk and pops the clean version back into your clipboard. And that's it. The Clean Links that I'm using is free somehow. And again, yeah, I'll put a link to it in the description. And I will do that, especially, well, because it's good, obviously, but also it does one other thing that's important for us, which is to do with that thing of, I said there was a problem with shortened links. Okay, shortened links, if you don't happen to have used this, if I have a long link, right, well, actually, yeah, I will just shorten it before I send it off in a message to somebody, because otherwise the message is a foot long. On a Mac, I'll select text, and on a utility called PopClip I have, pops up another excellent utility, which is something else to add to the growing list in the description, but okay. PopClip lets you have lots of different options, and one of them there, I've added this, the last one, to mine, and it's one that PopClip provides, which sends whatever link is on the clipboard to a shortener and puts it back in. Great. There are many link shortenerizers, and every one of them requires the link that you want to be passed through its systems as the short version is generated and sent back. I don't know what happens if the link shortening company goes out of business or if it switches to soft furnishings, but I suspect that those shortened links could die. So I'm now that I've thought about it, I'm trying to avoid them. I'm trying to avoid being dependent on any one link shortener at least. And I'm also, when I get to it reasonably steadily, going through every note I have, and if I find a short link, running it through that same Clean Links app, because Clean Links resolves the short one back out into the original long address. Two more things. One is, although as it happens, I like to see the link found in my research, you can do something to make it even more readable. This varies depending on what app you happen to use to store your notes in, but I mentioned Apple Notes earlier. Let's do it again. Here, you can in Apple Notes write out a title, a plain English sentence, then select that, press Command K. It's K as in the last letter of link. Paste in the link, click OK. There you have a headline that's clickable. And then lastly, I said that shortened links could always go away, could always stop working. Well, so can any website, can't it? So can any page on any website, it can go away. To make sure that doesn't happen, well, to make sure that the page you found online remains findable online, you can use the Internet Archive and its Wayback Machine. The Wayback Machine, it automatically does go around anyway, saving copies of pages it finds, but you can take the link to the one you've just found and make the Internet Archive record a copy of that right then as it is in that moment. You do then have kind of a tiny issue that you'll have two links. You'll have the original link you found, plus the Internet Archive will have now given you a link to its saved version. If you're ever going to cite a website somewhere, well, you'll have to use the original link, but I suggest you keep both for your research notes. I mean, after all, like I say, the only thing harder than finding something the first time online is trying to find it a second time. That's it for this edition of 58 Keys. Thank you very much for watching. Now, take care of yourself. Write more. Research is good, but you need to write more. And I'll see you soon.